how strong should I focus on accountability?
Accountable to?
I'm always stressing to people or myself that you have to be accountable for everything you say and everything you do. So should I not focus on that so much?
Well, we're going to give you a different slant on this, and we'll answer your question completely. Turns out, everything you're offering vibrationally is at the basis of all your attraction. So you could not be more accountable because you can't get separate from what you're vibrating. In other words, one day, Esther was walking back through the kitchen to her sleeping room and had left her microphone on. And she was chatting with Karen, and everyone in the room was hearing the conversation, or everyone who was listening. And Tracy, who is watching the live stream back in Texas, called Esther's phone and said, "Mom, your phone's on." And Esther pondered what she'd been saying, what she'd been thinking. She was very high and happy. She wasn't worried about it. But then Tracy said, "You know, maybe we should always pretend like our microphone is on." And we say, it always is. But monitoring your verbal output isn't enough, because you're radiating your output constantly and the universe is responding. And that's what we call accountable. In other words, you just can't not do that. Now, we know what you're talking about in a slightly different context. You're saying, if you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you make a commitment to be on time, then be on time and be accountable. But we would like to put a law-based conceptual slant on this by saying to you, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be accountable to one thing and one thing only, and that would be our alignment with our source. We would not be trying to please that one or that one or that one or that one, even if it's an employer that is threatening with some sort of power of termination. Because in the long run, if you are always true to who you are, which means you're always choosing the uplifting thought, you're always reaching for the feeling of alignment, that is a form of accountability that will serve you so well that any other form of accountability is irrelevant. And why is that so? Because all through life, you've been saying, don't like that better, don't like that better. The moment someone was rude to you, you put something very opposite of that in your vortex. When someone didn't believe in you, you put something very opposite of that in your vortex. When someone was mean to somebody else, you put something very different than that in your vortex. In other words, you have created a version of life that the source within you is resonating with and holding in vibrational resonance. You can count on that accountability. You can count on the source within you never deviating from that. Now we've laid the basis. What specifics do you want to talk about? Let's talk about it specifically, and we'll weave it into all of that.
How we talk to each other, like me and my relationship. You know, when you're trying to have a conversation or get to the bottom of something, where you're not attacking or blaming. So you got to be, I guess, responsible for what you're talking about. You know?
Here's the thing that's tricky about that, and we're just going to give this to you in the nicest possible way. Never try to get to the bottom of it. Because the more you focus on it, the more you activate it. The more you activate it, the more specific it gets. The more specific it gets, the worse it feels. The worse it feels, the more you are doing the opposite of the accountable to who you are thing that we're talking about. Never try to get to the bottom of things that don't feel good. There's no bottom. There is no bottom. There's no bottom. It's a bottomless pit. There's no bottom. There's no bottom. It will just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. There's no bottom.
Then what do I do to move on from whatever the disagreement is?
Look at the shiny object. Anything that you can do to distract yourself. You see, because here's how it works. Law of attraction says that whatever you're focused upon, more like it will come. And so let's say you're focused upon something you didn't like that another did, or you're focused upon the fact that the other's focused upon something that you did that they didn't like. And it doesn't matter which it is. As you're focused upon this unwanted thing, it's going to get bigger. What saves you is you have to go to sleep sometime. And when you go to sleep, it stops the evil trend. So the more you focus, the more specific it gets. So you've heard us talking, if you've been listening to us for a while, about this emotional scale where feeling really bad is at one end and feeling really good is at the other. And we defined several emotions, and of course there are many more than that, than even the ones that we defined. But we would like to take that emotional scale and put it into a simpler context and say there is specifically negative, which feels really, really bad. And then there's generally negative, which doesn't feel so bad. And then there's generally positive, which doesn't feel so good, but it feels better than so bad. And then there's specifically positive that feels really, really good. Many people, when they are burrowing in, trying to get the bottom of this thing that they really, really don't want, what's happening is you're contributing all kinds of things that you really, really do want to your vortex. When you really, really, really don't want something, there's something that you really, really, really do want that's lighting up over here for you in this place that you currently don't have access to. And there is this bogus thought that many humans have that if I just push hard enough at this thing I don't want, that I will somehow then end up over here to the solution. In other words, if I can just hammer at the problem long enough, the solution will reveal itself to me and we'll have this wonderful outcome. Well, it just doesn't work that way. But this is the way that it does work. If you can get less specific and less specific and less specific, then the vortex will call you closer and closer and closer to the solution that you really want. If you can get generally negative, it's very easy to get generally positive. And from generally positive, it's very easy to get specifically positive. So just think in terms of not wanting to get to the bottom of it, because that gets you more specific and holds you away from the solution that you want longer. So most people, when they're speaking of accountability, they're saying to another, your behavior, and more important, my attention to your behavior, has taken me out of the vortex into a horrible feeling place. And you need to do something different so that I can feel better. Esther said that to Jerry for a few days after he made his transition. She was so mad at him. She was just so mad at him because he was missing. And she just thought that was ridiculous. She just couldn't come to terms with it. And then after a few days of realizing that, what was she really asking him to do? Undo that? Really? We're going to reverse that? And so she realized there must be another way. There must be another way. And we want you all to know that there is always another way, and it's an easy way. It's finally not making somebody else accountable for how you feel. Isn't that the ultimate? Damn it, Jerry, you're dead and I feel bad. Do something about it. Become undead. Well, of course, there is no dead. There is no ending to all that. But it took her a while to remember that and to find it again, you see. And when you think about so many things that happen in relationships where you really are wanting to hold another person accountable for how you feel, you're holding the whole world accountable. The government is ridiculous in the way they behave, and therefore I feel bad. Or the economy is not where I need it to be, and therefore I feel bad. Giving up your power, giving up your power, giving up your power while you're trying to hold someone else accountable. You see, every single time. So when you stop doing that, you're free. You're really free to soar and feel good in the way that is natural for you to do, you see. You're free. You're free to feel good.
When we visited in August, you said that the vortex is never powerful enough to overcome your thought. And I'm having trouble reconciling that because when I think of the vortex, I think of vortex as source and vortex as all that is.
So as you think a thought, it will bring another, which you're now thinking, which will bring another, which you are now thinking. And during the process, you've put a whole lot into your vortex. By knowing what you don't want, you know what you do want. So here's this vortex that the source within you is enjoying and becoming. And here you are a part of it, but just not right now. A part of it, but just not right now. A part of it, but just not right now. Source, with all of its wisdom, does not have the power to think your thought. You're thinking your thought. Now, you can feel the resonance between the thought you're thinking and how Source feels about it. And you have the free will to change that thought. While you're not going to do it suddenly because law of attraction won't allow it. But if you're paying attention to the way you feel, you can come around to knowing the perfection of your thought or the imperfection of it. You can come around to knowing the bend of your thought or the detriment. You can come around to knowing the rightness or the wrongness. And we use those words gently in terms of who you have become. And so it's just the free will factor. We don't for a moment want you to think that we're going to stand over here in your vortex full well knowing everything that you are, everything that you've become, and everything that you want, and that we have any ability to assert that on you in your resistance. And many of you say, but Abraham, if you know I want it, then shouldn't you just make me get it even when I'm disallowing it? And we say, oh, you've been asking for that from the beginning of time. In other words, you are the creator of your reality. And you have a support system that's remembering everything that you really want and not giving you support in what you don't want. Ooh, is that big? Not giving you support in what you don't want. And it's in that lack of support that you're clamoring for more support. And we say, hear us. No support comes in what you don't want. So when it feels that bad, it's because it's not something that you want. Doesn't get any bigger than that, friends. There is such love for you here, for all that you are and all that you continue to be. There is no ending to that which we will become together. And let's just enjoy every step along the way as we're moving, which means let's enjoy the resistance. Let's enjoy the aggravations. Let's put them into perspective for what they are. Let's play the part that we are playing with clarity and focus and appreciation. And let's look out into the world and feel its beauty and discover it where we can and promote that every chance we get. And let's always remember that we are eternal beings and that there is no ending to that which we are. And that the vantage point where we now stand, right here, right now, wherever it is where we are meant to be doing our work. In other words, just stand there where you are and focus yourself into alignment and feel how good that can feel. And then watch what more it will lead to. There has never been a more leading edge crowd. And we are speaking of those of you here in the room and those of you around the world. How far around the world? All the way around the world.
Since thought always becomes matter, is it correct to say that since we manifested the earth?
Well, let's back up because every thought does not instantaneously become matter. But once manifestation has occurred, that's a very sophisticated, long-standing thought.
Can you say that one more time?
Every thought you think doesn't instantaneously become a manifestation that you could describe in the very specific term of matter.
Right, could take eons.
But everything that is matter is a very long-standing and therefore very evolved. That's why we use the term sophisticated thought. And you have to understand, this is really good. We've not been here before. This time-space reality that you all acknowledge is tangible, seeable, hearable, smellable, tasteable, touchable. It wasn't just thought into being. It is held into beingness by continuous thought. Have you ever seen how an abandoned house disintegrates?
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? Stood there all those years. The wood held up. The curtains held up. And it isn't because the bugs moved in, friends. It's because attention was withdrawn from it. So the holding of it in its reality ceased. Make sense? You like that. That's good. Leading edge. So we'll say it again so that we can come back to this powerful place. This matter, this tangible, seeable, hearable, smellable, touchable reality that you all are enjoying so much wasn't just thought and then forgotten. It was thought and is remembered.